We have choices. When we don't like what's happening, we have one of two choices. We can either curse the darkness or we can turn on the light. And what we need to understand is that cursing the darkness improves no one's life. But if we turn on the light, all of a sudden we have a way that we can bring incredible, beautiful life change to other people. And I want to encourage us in this teaching today to turn on the light. And as I talk about changing your world, I'm not the first one to talk about it. Jesus, in Matthew chapter 5, basically taught a change your world message. Let's look at the scripture, okay? Let's dive into it. It's on the screen. Jesus starts off in his teaching by saying, let me tell you why you're here. Let's stop right there. A lot of people come to me and they say, John, I would really like to know what God's purpose is for me in my life. I would really like to know what God's will for me in my life. And I say, well, you know, it's quite simple. Jesus kind of set that straight at the beginning of his ministry. Let me tell you why you're here. Let me tell you why you are on earth. And now he begins to explain. You're here to be salt seasoning that brings out the God flavors of this earth. If you lose your saltiness, how will people taste godliness? You've lost your usefulness and will end up in the garbage. Now, he emphasizes again. Here we go. Here's another way to put it. In other words, if you don't understand salt, let me share it with you another thing. You're here to be light, bringing out the God colors in the world. God is not a secret to be kept. We're going public with this, as public as a city on a hill. If I make you light bearers, you don't think I'm going to hide you under a bucket, do you? I'm putting you on a light stand. And now that I put you there, on the hilltop, on a light stand, shine. Keep open house, be generous with your lives. Oh, this is a huge verse. By opening up to others, you'll prompt people to open up with God, this generous Father in heaven. Jesus basically said that we change our world by being salt, which makes things better, and light, which makes things brighter. In other words, we are to be catalytic in helping people find God. Now, when we begin to understand our responsibility to be catalysts for change, the first thing that we understand is the fact that there are a lot of people who don't want to change. Would you agree with that? How many of you know people who they're just kind of stuck in the mud? I mean, yeah, okay, yeah, and I'm going to ask the question. You know it's coming, don't you? How many of you are sitting beside that person right now? Okay, don't go there. Just trust me. Don't go there. As I think about change, the reason people don't like it is because it's uncomfortable. A crisis is a detour. In other words, what a crisis is it takes us out of our rhythm and out of our way of doing things. And all of a sudden, the way that we're familiar with, the way that we understand, the way that we appreciate is taken from us, and we're now going a different way. It's a detour. And in fact, I've been encouraging everybody, enjoy the detour tour. And the reason you want to enjoy it is because you're seeing things that you've never seen before. You're going places you've never been before. You're experiencing things you've never experienced before. And this is where the learning and the growing of life becomes. So take the detour. And here's the statement. Everything that you want or need, but you don't have. Stay with me. Everything that you want or you need, but you don't have it, it's outside of your comfort zone. That's why you don't have it. If it was in your comfort zone, you'd already have it. You would say, oh my gosh, I need that, so I'm going to go get it. And you take it and you move on. The only reason that we don't get it is because it's out of our comfort zone. And what's so beautiful is people are out of their comfort zone right now. They're all on the detour tour, whether they want to be or not. And it's an incredible time for transformation. And here's why. Because when people are hurting, that's when they're willing to make their most important changes in life. Okay, this is going to be a little weird to some of you, But I think Christians grieve way too much when adversity comes. I don't really understand it, but I watch us and we put our hopes in the wrong people and the wrong things. And I can promise you right now that adversity is a friend to Christianity. Church history tells us this. And when I watch Christians say, boy, I just, wow, this would be taken from us. We're going to lose this. I look in there and I say, excuse me. I thought that we were pilgrims in this world. I just had a misunderstanding. I didn't know that this is where we were going to live eternally. I just thought this is where we're passing through. But let's talk about being comfortable or not being comfortable. Just do me a favor right now, quickly. Just cross your arms, okay? Everybody just cross your arms, okay? Now, we've done this thousands of times, haven't we? And let me just say something. Every time you cross your arms, you do it the same way. Every time. You know you've done this thousands of times and you have never done it the other way. Okay, let's do it the other way. Feels so uncomfortable, doesn't it? I mean, this certainly can't be the right way. No. Hey, clasp your hands. Clasp your hands with me, okay? Good. Now, every time you clasp your hands, you do it the same way. Every time. You've done this 10,000 times. Every time you do it the same way. You've never done it the other way, but you can clasp your hands. Just move one finger over and let's do it again. Oh. Doesn't it feel uncomfortable? I'm not sure that you can pray with your hands clasped like this. I'm not even sure God can hear your prayer. Come on, let's get it back to the way it's supposed to be. Let's go get it back to the right way. Now, I say that because people change in 4 different seasons. This is a whole leadership talk, okay, that I can do for about 2 hours, but because you're so smart, I'm going to do it in 1 minute. Honest to God. If I was with most congregations, this would be a series. But you're just smarter. Okay, here we go. People change when they hurt enough they have to, when they see enough they're inspired to, when they learn enough that they want to, and when they receive enough that they're able to. Those are the 4 times that people change. And I want to talk to you about just one of them, the hurting enough that you have to. But what I want you to grapple with today in being a transformational catalyst is the fact that in hurting times, this is a very opportune time for you to really make a difference. One of the negatives that have come out of all of this is the fact that there has been a decline in trust. I call it the trust fall. I put some stats on the screen. In 1964, 77% of Americans trusted in the federal government. 30 years later, only 20% do. And I know we think, well, you got Vietnam, you got Watergate. Of course, you got all kinds of things that we could point to, but I can tell you it's deeper than that. It's deeper than that. I'll come back to that. In 2014, 70% of the people believe that most people can't be trusted. You see, what happens is, when we lose our way with values, I'll come back to this. When we lose our way with values, all of a sudden, trust begins to fall. First in institutions, then in people. As I've traveled the world, the difference between countries and cultures that do well and countries and cultures that don't do well is what I call the trust factor. In fact, I want it to be put on your screen so you can visually see it for a moment. Social trust is the confidence that other people will do what they ought to do most of the time. Trust becomes a very vibrant factor that people thrive in when people do what they ought to do. And the word ought catches my attention because where did they get their ought? Where did they get their ought? That they do what they ought to do. They got it from learning and living good values. Trust is the environment where people thrive and do well. Now, this is essential. So we ask ourselves, okay, if we're going to see transformation, if we're going to change our world, let's go a step farther. How do we create an environment of trust? It's essential in families. It's essential in communities. It's essential in business. Trust needs to be the core, the center, the fabric of any culture. A trust environment begins when people feel valued. And the word beside that, which is on your screen, is the word connecting. When we value people, we have the ability to connect with people. And the flip is also true. When we devalue people, we disconnect from people. When people say, I want to be Christ-like, I say, well, if you want to be like Jesus, then right at the top of your agenda should be valuing everybody. Because Jesus valued everybody. And when you say, John, what do you mean by everybody? See, when I tell people that they need to value people, they're okay with that. Oh, yeah. It's good. Value people. Got it. But when I point to Jesus, if you want to be Jesus-like, he valued everybody. Don't miss this. He valued everybody. There is no person on this earth that God doesn't value. And the only people that have a difficult time with valuing everybody in Jesus' day were the religious people. It bothered them greatly that Jesus would eat with sinners, that he would hang around with tax collectors, that he would be down in the marker where the hookers were. Bothered them greatly. Why are you spending time with him? Why are you there? And Jesus was saying very simple, you got to understand, I'm a doctor. I came to take care of sick people. I'm a shepherd. I'm looking for a lost sheep. Don't miss this. Everybody. There is something engaging and connecting when people that are different than you and me know that they're unconditionally loved by you and me. And to be honest with you, this is where we have, as Christians, utterly failed. When people look at us so many times, they don't see us with unconditional love. And so what does that do? That creates the disconnect. You see, my perspective of you determines my attitude towards you. How I see you determines my attitude. And on the screen again, just don't miss this. If I see you as weak, I will help you. And if I see you as broken, I'll fix you. But if I see you as valuable, I'll serve you. Now just stay right with that for a moment. This is huge. This is huge. Because the first two, see you as weak, I help you. See you as broken, I fix you. In both of those scenarios, if I help you, I come out on top. It's like, oh my gosh, thank you, John. Oh, you rescued me. Oh my, you pulled me out of the ditch. I always look better if I have the perspective of the first two. But the moment that I see you as valuable, I don't now try to be over you. I try to come under you. And I try to serve you. And it's the serving heart. It's the serving. That's why Paul said, I'll go to all kinds of means to win people to Christ. I've learned to be a servant. What's Paul saying? Paul is saying, this guy that's incredibly gifted said, I'm going to serve because the only way to bring transformation to people's lives is to serve them.